Welcome back to Ben's Book Club. Today we are diving into the book Start With Yourself, a new vision for work and life. If you've been searching for the ultimate post-girl boss survival guide, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to unpack a framework here that takes a completely fresh, totally unfiltered look at ambition, success, and what it actually takes to build the life you want. Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We've got a 6-part blue point today to rewrite your internal operating system. We'll start by meeting your mentor, then we'll delete system errors, rethink work-life balance, cover the rule of thirds, talk about action over perfection, and finally wrap up with radical personal responsibility. Let's get into it. Section 1. Meet your new mentor, Emma Grede's Improbable Rise. Now, Emma Grede isn't just an author offering theoretical advice. No way. She's a powerhouse serial entrepreneur. You might know her as the co-founder of Good American alongside Khloe Kardashian, or as a founding partner of Skims. But get this, she didn't start with a trust fund or a bunch of fancy industry connections. She grew up in a pretty rough, working-class neighborhood in East London, the daughter of a single mother. She battled dyslexia and actually dropped out of high school and fashion college. Yet, through sheer grit and a tight grip on her emotional control, she built these massive global fashion empires while raising 4 kids. And today, she sits right there on Forbes' list of America's richest self-made women. Just incredible. A huge piece of her foundational mindset comes straight from her mother, who used to tell her this brilliant phrase: "You're not more special than anyone else, but nobody is more special than you." I love that. This incredibly grounded, realistic philosophy really anchors the entire mindset framework of the book. It basically gives you full permission to be fiercely ambitious, all while keeping your ego totally in check. Moving on to Section 2. Delete the system errors. Debugging your mind. So Grede argues that the absolute biggest obstacle to your success, it isn't the external system or the economy or your current boss. The real barrier is the internal system errors running in your own mind right now. We're talking about those outdated biases and narratives we've all internalized. We have got to delete these old thoughts, things like waiting around for the perfect time, waiting for permission, or just blindly following societal rules. Instead, we need to install new thoughts that embrace radical ownership. You have to define success on your own absolute terms. To change your life, it's like a computer upgrade. You literally have to delete the old code and install the new. And a massive chunk of deleting those system errors involves how we think about money and value. For generations, women especially, have been conditioned to view ambition as kind of unseemly, right? And money as crass to talk about. Well, we need to shift from an employee mentality where you timidly ask for a raise and avoid financial talk entirely to a true ownership mindset. Grede shares this incredibly powerful personal turning point in the book where she just stopped asking for a raise. Instead, she started stating her compensation requirements as an absolute fact. And the crazy thing? Nobody objected. It's a total game changer. Section 3. Rethink work-life balance. Uncomfortable truths. Okay, prepare to have some modern myths completely shattered here, because Grede delivers the unvarnished truth about what ambition actually requires. She highlights this fantastic Oprah Winfrey quote: "You can have it all, but maybe not all at once." She explains that life has distinct seasons. You cannot give 100% to your business and your family and your health and your relationships all at the exact same time. It's just not mathematically possible. Extraordinary achievement demands real sacrifice, particularly early on in your career. Accepting these trade-offs, it's just a non-negotiable part of high-level success. Which brings us to a few pretty uncomfortable truths. First up, a business is not a family, it's a team. Treating it like a family can seriously blur boundaries and stall your growth. Second, likability and true leadership are often mutually exclusive. You just can't lead effectively if your #1 goal is to have everyone like you all the time. And finally, here's a very controversial take. Grede warns that remote work heavily risks keeping women out of the critical rooms where key decisions are actually made. It really forces us to ask ourselves, has corporate culture started prioritizing comfort over true professional investment and momentum? It's definitely something to chew on. All right, Section 4. The Rule of Thirds, Managing the Emotional Landscape. In Grede's framework, emotional management isn't just some soft, nice-to-have extra skill. It is a critical, foundational life and business skill. I mean, if you can't manage your emotions, you can't manage your career. What's brilliant here is how her rule of thirds instantly takes the pressure off. She says you should expect your life to be happy roughly 1/3 of the time, neutral 1/3 of the time, and hard or sad 1/3 of the time. We cause ourselves so much extra pain by expecting to be happy 24/7. Recognizing that life is simply supposed to be tough a part of the time actually builds incredible business resilience. When things go wrong, you don't panic. You just recognize, hey, I'm in my difficult third right now, and you push through. And a big part of navigating that difficult third is redefining fear. Enter the concept of eustress, or challenge stress. Grede frames fear as simply excitement without the breath. Think about that. It's just a physiological response that you can actually use as fuel. By making this critical mindset shift, you stop letting fear, guilt, or anger completely derail your boldest decisions. You literally learn to breathe through the excitement and take the leap. Section 5. Action over perfection, the good American launch disaster. The lead's core philosophy here is that taking messy action and making the most decisions always beats waiting around to craft the perfect plan. To illustrate this, let's look at day one of the Good American launch back in 2016. On their very first day, they sold $1 million worth of denim. 1 million. It was a staggering, record-breaking launch that most founders only ever dream of. So, massive success, right? Well, yes, but it immediately led to this. Inventory depleted and absolutely no backup production cycles planned. Grede had spent literally all of their startup capital just to get to launch day, without any sort of safety net. So they were out of stock for months. But she uses this spectacular disaster to prove a really vital point. Curiosity, momentum, and a willingness to learn from failure matter infinitely more than polished credentials or perfect planning. She fixed the problem, learned the lesson, and just kept building. Which brings us to Section 6, Radical Personal Responsibility. Stop being a passenger. This is really the culmination of our explainer today. True, lasting success requires you to entirely stop the blame game. You have to stop waiting for someone else to fix your circumstances and aggressively take the wheel of your own life through radical daily actions. Define success on your own terms, not someone else's. Review your goals weekly and learn to say no ruthlessly to absolutely anything that doesn't align with them. When you fail, and you definitely will, practice self-forgiveness quickly and just move on. And above all, when an opportunity appears, you seize it without a single drop of guilt or apology. These are the strict routines and habits that maintain high performance and ultimate self-leadership. So, I leave you with this final provocative question. Are you running on outdated mental software? It's time to delete the system errors, embrace the discomfort of ambition, and take radical ownership of the life you want to build. Thank you so much for joining me for this breakdown of Emma Grede's phenomenal blueprint. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode.